Hello and welcome back to another episode of RedTalk. Before we get into today's topic, I just thought I would take the time just to quickly show you the Red Plays YouTube channel, just do a little bit of self-promotion, try and get ourselves out there a little bit. So as you can see, we will be putting a Let's Play video out every day at 11 a.m. So currently we are working through Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. We're very early in. I think the 4th episode would have just gone live now, and we're going to do a complete, or I'm going to do a complete playthrough of that. So if you're interested in that, please give it a look and don't forget to give the videos a like. We'll make a recommendation. The Doom 2016 video series is finished. It's quite enjoyable to watch, I feel, and I really enjoyed making it. It was an absolute blast. With Doom Eternal coming out later this year, I think you can refresh yourself and just remind yourself how good that game's going to be through those videos. So do check them out as well. You do get a Red Talk like this one every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. At this point, there is no set time. They're just as I complete them and bring them out. I will be looking at getting a set time in shortly. And impressions and reviews are just sort of as they come, something I find that I might enjoy to talk about, or maybe it's a game that I finished that I particularly liked or disliked, just to share my thoughts and all that sort of stuff. So please come check out the channel. Subscribe if you're interested in what I'm making, and if you like what you're seeing, leave comments on videos. Try and openly discuss things with me, because I will respond to your comments as much as I can. I really want to try and make this a good channel for you to come to see some video game, just gameplay, to have some good discussions, find out some reviews, and go from there. So with that, let's get into today's video. So the other day we were discussing Pokemon Sword and Shield, and I was basically saying that I was unhappy, or I felt that the games were a little bit undercooked, which now that I've actually sat down and finished it since my last video, I did think that that would be necessary. I still feel the same way, unfortunately. I will link my previous video in the description so you can see my thoughts then as well. I feel like Pokemon Sword and Shield is undercooked because the game is very linear, which is not really different from any of the other games, but I feel like the wild area is just a gimmick. Like it feels like a crutch to sort of bring the game forward and just progress it so you can sort of work at your own pace. I suppose that is a positive, and I can see it for that I can stop playing the story and just like level up and catch new Pokemon and all that sort of stuff. But the other thing is too, the wild area to me just seems incredibly small in comparison to other open world games available on the Switch. Now I know there are a lot of Pokemon that are in this game, and maybe there's not enough room on the little Pokemon on the actual game cartridge, whatever it may be. But the wild area to me is it's not anything in like extraordinary or anything like that. It's sort of uninspired. It's bland. The textures in it are a bit wonky. I could go on, but anyway, you can see the last video for that. So again, with the expansions coming out, new Pokemon, so on and so forth, hopefully new story, new wild areas. And now that I've finished the game, I sort of feel like I want to discuss this expansion pass again. The last part of Sword and Shield for me was 2 gyms to complete, and then like, you know, the Pokemon League and all that sort of stuff. I smashed my way through those gyms. Did not really enjoy them at all. Just got them done for the sake of being done. The second to last gym's challenge was literally running in a straight line. That's uninspired. That's so boring. It was I was sat there in disbelief. At least the other ones had some mini games, but this is just, it's like, oh, we don't have an 8th one. Just make it a straight line and get it out there. So yeah, and then the lead up to fighting, is it Leon, the Pokemon champion trainer? That was boring too. That was so drawn out. Like, I just did not like it at all. I just thought it was very, very time consuming for the sake of being time consuming. And now that I'm in the post game area of the post game content, no, it's not good. Fly to a gym, battle a Dynamax Pokemon, can't even capture it, don't get any experience points. Fly another place, fight these 2 idiots that have the weirdest hairstyles ever, and then repeat. until I suppose you find the 2 mascot Pokemon for the titles. Haven't done that yet. We'll be getting to it because I still want to see how it pans out. But my thoughts on the game have changed very, very have not really changed at all. I was going to say very, very smallly into the positive, but that's not the case. So again, the expansion pass. Yes, we are getting maybe some new Pokemon. Great. We hopefully will get a little bit more story. It looks like it's got a few gameplay features here, as I discussed in the previous one. Oh, here it is. Actually, we can have a look at it directly. So, a new area, the Isle of Armor, new Pokemon, clothing items, handy features, items, and more. So, the new area doesn't describe anything as to what it is, which is concerning. Let's have a look. So, in the Isle of Armor expansion, you'll head to the Isle of Armor, the stage of your new adventure in the Galar region. The Isle of Armor is a giant island full of environments not seen in the Galar before. You'll find wave-swept beaches, forests, bogs, caves, and sand dunes. So if that's all in the wild area, that's one area. There are also plenty of Pokemon that make this island their home, living freely amid the lush natural surroundings. There's even a dojo here that specializes in some particular training styles. You and your Pokemon will take up the apprenticeship under the master of the dojo and train hard to become even stronger. Okay, fair enough. The Crown of Thunder expansion is set in the snow-set realm of the Crown of Thunder. Yep, okay. See for yourself the beautiful scenery of this shining silvery landscape in this frigid area with its jagged winter mountains. People live in small communities where they support and rely on one another. A certain person will appoint you as leader of their exploration team in the Crown Tundra. You'll then be tasked with investigating the reaches of the frozen land and remember that Pokemon den. Remember the Pokemon dens that you've only been able to glimpse during. Oh no. Okay. So to me, they just sound like 2 big wild areas with a couple of different biomes thrown in there. So to me, that's nothing special. You know, you're going to put a little story in there, do another big air quote open area, and then just shove Pokemon into your face. It's not looking good. So there's a little bit more of my thoughts on that. I really don't think that's going to be anything special. But today I wanted to talk to you about this Pokemon Home as well. So this RedTalk today is sort of my extended thoughts on Pokemon Sword and Shield as a whole, the idea of the expansion pass, and finally now this. Pokemon Home, for those of you who don't know, is like Pokemon Bank. For those of you who don't know what that is, Pokemon Bank was a app basically that you downloaded onto your 3DS, and you could transfer Pokemon from one game into the app and then transfer it from the app into another, like a more recent release of the game. Okay, so it was a paid service. You would pay, I think, a small... I don't know if they had a monthly fee for Pokemon Bank. I think it was just a yearly fee. And in Australia, I think that's about $8 for that one a year. And you'd be able to house, I think up to 6,000 as well. I don't know. I never really used it. But keep in mind, what you're seeing now is the US version of this website. So the prices then, we could imagine here in Australia, will be a little bit more. Okay, so for a month, you're looking at $2.99. For 3 months or 90 days, you're looking at $4.99. And for 12 months for the year, you're looking at $15.99 or $16. So who knows what we'll see for the price for a month. For a month to up to a year in Australia. I would imagine maybe this might go up to maybe $24.95, so $25, which is ludicrous. That is quite an expensive app or subscription to be paying for something that I feel that isn't really used or is not really going to be used to its full effect for quite some time. So let's get into it. So you've got your basic and premium models, so you can use this service for free. But look at this, moving Pokemon from Pokemon Bank into Pokemon Home. So Pokemon Bank, after this comes out, Pokemon Home is being removed. It's not going to be a thing. It's going to overlap for a little short period of time so people can transfer stuff up. but then after that, apparently it's going to cease to exist. So if you have the basic version, you're not paying for it, you cannot move Pokemon over to Pokemon Home. So if you have any of your favorites, any of those really high IV, EV trained Pokemon, you now are forced to purchase it. If you can get through it relatively quick, because it is going to cost you, I would suggest maybe going for the 1 month payment, and that way you can at least house your Pokemon. But that also comes at a price, because the number of Pokemon that can be deposited on the basic version is only 30. So if you have like 31, you now have to purchase Pokemon Home's premium plan. I don't know why this is such a thing. Like, and the thing that annoys me about that is the fact that 30 Pokemon as opposed to 6,000 Pokemon. Why? I mean, why don't you just make it at least seem tangible? Like, why don't you just say 100 Pokemon can be deposited on basic? You know, at least people there sit there and go, oh, well, if it's 100 Pokemon, I can at least get the ones that I want. No one has, or I feel there'd be very few people that have 100 perfectly EV, IV trained Pokemon that can be transferred across. The only thing I can think of is maybe there's Pokemon breeders out there who just use the Pokemon that they've bred that they don't want. They just chuck them in Pokemon Bank or Pokemon Home. Or someone who's trying to collect all the shinies with EVs and IVs and all that sort of stuff separate. So they've got a shiny version of Bulbasaur and a normal version of Bulbasaur, which are both perfectly EV and IV trained. I don't know. But that, to me, just seems crazy that would be so few as opposed to so many. So the number of Pokemon that we can place in the Wonder Box, I believe, is like a random trading thing. So 3 Pokemon as to 10 Pokemon, I mean, that's really just a matter of time. Like, you have to obviously spend more Pokemon, and you have to be checking it more often to make sure that once Pokemon are traded, that you're keeping that up to date. I don't really see that as a big deal. The number of Pokemon that we can place in the global trading system. So the global trading system is basically you can request a Pokemon that you've seen in game. So if you've seen it but can't catch it for whatever reason, maybe it's not a version exclusive, the global trading system will allow you to get it in exchange for another Pokemon. But it has to match the criteria of the other person. So if someone's looking for a Bulbasaur and I put one up and I request it for a Charmander, then they can trade and go, hey, I'll give you a Bulbasaur, and I'll take your Bulbasaur and I'll give you the Charmander in return. Fair enough. Room trade, from what I understand of it, is just you create like a private room that people can come into and trade Pokemon and all that sort of stuff. There and of that is not that big of a deal, I don't think. And the judge function, I don't know what the judge function is, so we'll just leave it at that. It just seems a little bit weird that this thing exists. So as you can see here, if we just have a look at the more features, you get the national dex and it will show you everything. That's fine. I suppose that will show you what's in Pokemon Home, like what you've got there. Great, not really a big deal. This one here, with the mobile app version of Pokemon Home, you'll be able to see much more with just Pokemon entries. You'll also be able to check abilities. Okay, so even that's not that great of a deal. Mystery Gift, for those of you who don't know what Mystery Gift is basically sometimes Game Freak will send you a Mystery Gift. If it's like the old one, you can still get Mystery Gifts from your friends. It's not really that special. Judge Pokemon, again, that's pretty self-explanatory. In your room, you'll be able to see all sorts of information about events. So it's like a news feed. I really don't think that's that special. Battle data, news, Pokemon home points. Again, nothing really that special. I really wanted to show you this. So if you have a look here, the version features. So when they say version features, there's a version for mobile phone, as you can see it here, and Nintendo Switch. So mobile phone obviously being addressed to Pokemon Go. So for the Nintendo Switch version, you can move Pokemon from Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, and move Pokemon from Sword and Shield for the Switch. But you can't do it for the mobile phone. Some of you might go, okay, well, what's the problem there? Well, will this payment cover both versions? I certainly hope it would, but you've now isolated the two platforms from each other, which just seems a little bit weird, right? Because if you have a look here, Move Pokemon with Pokemon Bank, you can access the 3DS version of the game on both platforms, but you can't do the Nintendo Switch ones on both platforms. So Pokemon Bank is viable for both. I don't know how far Pokemon Go's gone in terms of how many monsters it's released, how many Pokemons it's released, but that to me just seems weird. I don't know. That's just strange, because even still, if they've not released every single Pokemon available on Pokemon Go, then they're in the same boat they are with the Switch, where you may have Pokemon that sit in someone's Pokemon home bank or home box for years. I don't get it. Like, I don't know. Well, let's keep going. So, judge Pokemon. Yeah, okay, fair enough. Trade Pokemon. So, notice how you can trade Pokemon on the mobile phone version, but you can't trade Pokemon from Pokemon Home on the Nintendo Switch version. Like, what? What? Even here, like, again, receive mystery gifts, check battle data, check news. I don't understand why you wouldn't be able to do these simple things, considering it's such a core element of Pokemon game, except for checking news. Checking news should be available on both platforms regardless, so people can stay up to date with current things that are happening within the game, upcoming events, all that sort of stuff. Pokemon Home, sort of like Pokemon Sword and Shield, just feels like it's not really well thought out and it's not really well executed. I really hate to say this about Pokemon and Game Freak, but I honestly believe that they're starting to create problems to sell you solutions. And that's not good. Pokemon shouldn't be about problem solving and solution sales. It should be about being able to capture your favorite creatures and train them just as it's always been about. And I honestly believe that if this continues, I don't think Pokemon's going to suffer to the point where it's going to be forgotten and neglected and all that sort of stuff. But it's going to rub a lot of people the wrong way. And it's a shame too, because for so many years, Pokemon has been a game that it just shows the utmost positive attitude. It puts a smile on your face, whether you're a long-time fan of the game or the series itself, or it's your first time playing them. It has always been just an enjoyable experience. And to hear that now, that especially after everything we've experienced with Dexit not having the full roster, being implemented new Pokemon after I feel that issue came to light, and then now this, Pokemon is now becoming quite expensive. I suppose if there's a bottom line to this, that's it. Pokemon now is really expensive. It costs in Australia $90 to $100 for the base game, Sword and Shield. And if you're a Pokemon fan, like I said in my last video, you bought both versions of the game. So that's, let's say if it's $100, that's $200. $200 just for the base game, plus $45 each for both expansion passes for either version. So that's $290. If you're playing it with a sibling, a significant other, a friend, and they live in your household, maybe it's a housemate or something like that, then that's maybe another $35 Australian for the online pass to play Nintendo Online through Nintendo services. All right, so we've got what, 200, then 90, so that's 290. It's 325 already. $325 to play Pokemon. And then you have possibly $25 more for 12 months of this. That's $350 with a $25 by year or every year fee. That's a lot when you're a Pokemon fan. That's a lot of money. just to stay up to date and be able to capture everything. And who's to say that they won't implement another expansion pass if a lot of the fans go out after the 2 expansion passes come out and say, my favorite Pokemon's still not in there? What's to stop them implementing more? There's supposed to be a rumor that there's going to be 25. There's going to be 200 new Pokemon introduced or Pokemon brought back into the current game with the expansion pass. That would bring it up to about 600. I don't know the exact number of Pokemon there are. We can actually have a look and see. There you go, 807. So let's say, give Game Freak the benefit of the doubt. Let's say those 7 Pokemon at the end there are given out through mystery gifts and events. What's to stop them implementing 2 more expansion passes to get the other 200 Pokemon out there? What's to stop them? In Australia, another $45 a pop. It's another $90 if you bought both games. I don't know. Well, at least there is one benefit to that, I suppose. At least the Pokemon Home will have a full functionality. And actually be maybe worthwhile having until you can trade everything across. But I don't know. That's just me. What are your thoughts on this topic? I just feel like Pokemon now is just starting to take the piss a little bit, which is really annoying, especially given the circumstance that a lot of people have fought back on these sort of things, cutting things out for the sake of cutting them out and selling them back at a premium later. So with that, please leave your thoughts down below, comment down below, have a discussion with me. I will respond to your message as soon as I can, and I hope that you will ask me a question or leave your thoughts about it so that I can do that. Drop this video a like if you liked it. Please subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more. And with that, don't forget I upload a Let's Play video every single day at 11 AM. KOTOR is the current game of choice. We will be getting through that. Dark Souls will be returning very soon. And a RedTalk every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with impressions and reviews as they come. Please enjoy your day. And with that, I will see you next time. I'm out.